yet. We
I
might
don't
not...
give a damn. Just do it. Jump now. Now, damn it, now.
Jumping in 3, 2, 1, march!
Dropping now. Stand by for Titanfall.
It's hard to believe, but Titanfall is finally here. After a year of hype, the Xbox One's most anticipated exclusive has finally rocketed to release, taking frantic first-person gunplay, blending it with hefty robot action. But you know what? Is this the FPS saver we all hoped it would be? The answer is a resounding hell's yes. Microsoft took a hell of a risk locking Titanfall down as its premier exclusive for 2014. It demonstrates intent to tap back into the desires of the hardcore gamer, a crowd that has become increasingly disgruntled as the Xbox One positioned itself in the living room over cordon-drawn bedrooms across the globe. We've been handed a new IP from an untested studio, an FPS designed on an aging source engine that's ditching single player in favour of tight online-only multiplayer firefights. All things considered, Titanfall is an almighty gamble. Here's the thing about going all in when the stakes are high: the potential payout is almost always worth the risk. And Titanfall is Microsoft admitting that the majority of Xbox gamers aren't looking for a new experience from their next-gen console. They're simply eager for a true iteration of an experience that they've already played to prestige. That's right, Respawn has unleashed the first worthwhile revision the Call of Duty formula has undergone since Modern Warfare redefined online multiplayer. The premise of Titanfall is easy to grasp: a civil war on the fringes of human-occupied space. Two factions of colonists are locked in a deadly struggle for supremacy, harnessing gigantic weaponized robots, dubbed Titans, to try and turn the tide of battle in their favour. It's got all the hallmarks of an epic sci-fi shooter, but don't come in expecting a multi-hour spanning single-player adventure. Titanfall is multiplayer only, letting players run through a stripped-back narrative dubbed campaign multiplayer. You'll play it from both sides of the conflict, though it is essentially just a set of scripted sequences and audio voiceovers presented across 9 multiplayer game types. It's certainly an interesting experiment, but it's over far too quickly. More so than anything else, it serves as a welcome introduction to the effortlessly entertaining, sophisticated, and wholeheartedly fresh take on a genre that was stagnating. Truth be told, Titanfall has no right to be as goddamn satisfying as it is. Battles start out as a war of attrition as 12 nimble pilots drop into conflict and attempt to gain an early foothold on one of the 15 maps. You'll have to take advantage of the environment like never before. Every pilot comes equipped with a jetpack, letting you double jump, run along walls, vault over obstacles, and utilize momentum to fly across the map at unrelenting speeds. Where Titanfall finds success, and where comparatively something like Brink failed, is through streamlined controls that make the complexity of the system second nature. Pulling off a wall run is simple as running towards a wall while sprinting. Double tapping A will execute a double jump. Respawn has empowered the player and somehow made it as effortless as pulling the trigger. Killing pilots and slaughtering AI-controlled guns chips seconds off of your Titan timer. Once this hits 0, stand by for Titanfall, you're about to see your own personal bipedal tank drop in out of orbit. The Titans bring about a whole new dynamic to the battlefield, forcing pilots to make considered runs across the environment and work together to take down the towering dangers that now stalk the battlegrounds. As the minutes start to tick away, the corpses of fallen Titans will litter the ground, explosions will rock the screen, and the game amplifies it to a frantic crescendo. And finally, as the defeated team makes a desperate scramble to the dropship, which is a last-ditch attempt to escape the battle and reclaim a little XP for the effort, the game will come to a close, leaving you exhilarated and desperate for more. The Titans provide such an interesting dynamic to the structure of the matches. The balance is incomparable and undoubtedly Titanfall's greatest success. The Titans feel like they've been ripped from another media entirely, sitting somewhere between the spectacle and speed of Gundam's mechs and the raw power of the walking battle tanks found in Steel Battalion. They provide an undeniable power shift. You'll crush pilots and minions underfoot with reckless abandon, utilize big cannons and armoured artillery to take on the enemy from afar before dashing into visceral steel-on-steel fistfights. You can even leap out of your Titan and let the AI take control. 2 guns are better than 1, right? You can have it follow you around and attempt to draw the fire of enemy combatants as you run amok in the skies, or you can leave it on guard and an integral tactic when trying to seize a hardpoint or defend a flag. Despite their size and capabilities, they never disrupt the flow of the game. They're refreshingly vulnerable to the nimble pilots who are able to run circles around the Titans or even leap onto their chassis and try their hands at some shotgun-assisted brain surgery. In many respects, the Titans represent yet another successful revision of a well-established system, that of the kill streak. Rather than rewarding already powerful players with more ways to ruin your kill-to-death ratio, Respawn looks to constantly disrupt the pace of games. Skilled players will call in their Titans relatively early, but any advantage is short-lived, because every player will have access to a Titan after a couple of minutes. Better still, once a Titan has been shot to pieces, it isn't the end. Mashing X will see you jettison from the corpse of your exploding mechanized friend, launching you into the sky and gaining you an opportunity to take revenge or find a new foothold on the map entirely. As soon as your Titan has been expended, the countdown starts all over again. Titanfall doesn't punish failure, it makes it fun and rewards you for the effort. It ensures that you're never stuck in periods of downtime, never without anything to shoot at. No matter how dominant the enemy team is, there's always a strategy to turn the tables your way. You know what, it's impossible for us to understate this point. Titanfall is best in show when it comes to the FPS. The controls are responsive and smooth, the weapons feel great, but don't rely heavily on twitchy thumbstick control. And as you might expect, response and feedback from the weapons is sublime as well. Titanfall really has taken the best elements of its peers' mechanics, refined them, and made them work in the confines of a 6 vs 6 arena shooter. That said, you never feel like there are only ever 6 enemy pilots out there vying for your blood. Titanfall is a fast and frantic experience, and barely a second goes by without something to point your gun at. Battlefield 4 might have brought 64-player action to Xbox One, but Titanfall is the first game to truly make you feel like you're in the middle of a wider conflict. It just goes to show, multiplayer shooters didn't need to expand after all, they needed to go back to the drawing board, Quake first pitch in the 90s, and carefully iterate from it. This is the multiplayer shooter we've been waiting 6 years for. A genuine iteration of a fantastic formula, Titanfall is the shooter the rest of the industry will undoubtedly look towards and imitate in the coming years. Respawn has forged a game that is so much more than the sum of its parts. A new hype for multiplayer gaming that provides enough imaginative twists on established mechanics to entertain the hardcore shooter fanatic, while offering accessibility and simplicity in its core systems and accelerated pace, bringing a whole new breed of gamer. Titanfall is an unapologetically fun experience, a wonderful debut for Respawn Entertainment, and a wild gamble that's paid off massively for Microsoft. Titanfall, you get X1's first 10 out of 10, and to read the full written review, please go over to www.xb1.co.uk.
Impact in 3,